It feels like the perfect time for an episode of the Second Balcony after the Chicago Blackhawks paid tribute to the Chicago Stadium over the weekend before getting shellacked by the Red Wings. It's your pals, Greg and Frank, here in the Second Balcony. Welcome back. I'm going to remember to do this now until the 57-minute mark. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Please follow us on wherever you get your audio podcasts. Give us a 5-star review. You can roast us in the 5-star review. Just make sure it's a 5-star review and all that fun stuff. Tell your friends, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for being here. Let's get to it. We got lots to talk about, don't we, Frank?
Yeah. The Hawks are terrible, and and their best player is hurt.
Merry Christmas.
So good times. Yeah, right?
Well, let's face it. The Hawks were trending down for a little while before Connor Bedard got hurt, and it certainly is not helping. Of course, last Friday, last play of the game, 0.8 seconds to go, Connor Bedard hurts his apparently his right shoulder, though they won't officially say that. They're just saying upper body. On a play with Braden Shen, that is there's still some meatballs out there that want to say it's a dirty play and want blood. I understand in the immediate after effect to be mad, but once you actually see it and go, okay, that wasn't a dirty play. It's a hockey play that happens 20 times in a game, and it's going to happen every single time in that situation. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they showed it on the replay, you saw he landed on his shoulder awkwardly before Shen even touched him.
Yeah.
So, one of those things. Unfortunately, it's one of those things you'd feel a lot differently if it were one of those things happening to Sam Lafferty. But, Sam Lafferty's not going to be out on the ice when you need to win a face-off for a one-time clapper with 0.8 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
So...
in case you missed it earlier today, the Blackhawks did place Connor Bedard on injured reserve, and then Jeff Blashill gave the update that he will be reevaluated after the new year, which sounds like a long ways away, but that's only 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
And then they'll see where they're at from there. He didn't say he's coming back in 2 weeks. They're just going to take another look at it. We know he had an MRI over the weekend, so the fact that they're still kind of like, hey, it seems to me they feel that this just needs a couple of weeks of maybe immobilization and some rest, and then maybe it will heal up on its own, whatever the injury is. I mean, they haven't said what it is, but you could speculate all you want. Dislocated shoulder, separated shoulder. It doesn't appear to be a broken collarbone or anything like that. He had an MRI over the weekend, and it sounds like the MRI didn't show anything scary, any tears or tendon damage, anything like that, because at this point, surgery is not an option. It's not completely ruled out, but it's not an option right now. So I know it sucks that they couldn't give you an exact timeline and say he's going to be back in 4 weeks, but I think it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, they didn't say he's having surgery tomorrow.
Right. His season isn't over.
Yeah. So maybe something can be salvaged, but we talked on our last recording about how the Blackhawks were basically waiting around to see if Bedard would do anything, and guess what? Now Bedard's not there at all. So somebody's got to step up, and I'm looking at you, Frank Nazar. It's time to show that the Hawks' trust in you and giving you that extension is justified.
Yeah, he's been playing well of late. The last 4 or 5 games, he's looked more like he's back to 100%, but he's not scoring. He needs to start scoring. No. He needed to start scoring 16 games ago, but he definitely needs to now. It's time to start finishing. It's time for Oliver Moore to start netting a few goals. He's been playing well too, creating a lot of chances, just not finishing. You have to finish. If you want to stay in this league, you have to finish. Ask Victor Stahlberg and Andreas Athanasiou what it's like to be a really fast guy that can't effing score a goal. Start potting them.
Sergei Samsonov.
Yeah.
We can sit here all day. We can sit here all day and list guys. And yeah, it's up to these guys now. the whole grand vision of the Blackhawks is to have all of these first round draft picks lead them to the promised land. And guess what? You've got first round draft picks all over that roster now. Start producing, do something. You know,
Yes.
there's and you're seeing so much more confidence now out of Levshinov. I'd love to start seeing because like Nazar, when he shoots the puck, he's like shooting the puck right into the crest of the goalie. And that's not what a confident guy is doing. Like Connor Bedard, I mean, there's no player on the team with Connor Bedard's confidence because Bedard's also got the most talent on the team. It's easy to be confident when you can shoot the puck like Connor Bedard can shoot the puck. And he was, this whole year, he's just been able to put it in a teacup. And Nazar needs to do that. He needs to. I get that when you're not scoring, you want to try to keep things simple, but you don't want to keep things so simple that you're not making it a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, and this is not a free pass for the veterans either. These guys need to step up too. Yeah, we're looking at
Ryan
Nazar
Donato.
because he's
Ryan Donato
yeah,
got a 4-year deal because he scored 30 goals. Start scoring some
yeah,
goals.
right. I mean, I'm not sure what playing on a line with Sam Lafferty and Dominic Tornado is going to help, but it doesn't matter. Get the puck, shoot puck. Him and Tyler Pertuzzi combined for 0 shots and goal in that Red Wings game. You cannot have that. They had 9 shot attempts between the two of them and 0 on goal. You have to get the puck on net. The Blackhawks they do need to simplify things to a degree to where just get puck and shoot puck. Enough of the passing, enough of looking for the perfect play. Connor Bedard's not here to score the perfect goal anymore. You have to score ugly, greasy, dirty, whatever adjective you want to use.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the goals you have to rely on. Otherwise, they're not coming. You have to get to the front of the net. There's no such thing as a bad shot. The last 2 games in St. Louis with Connor Bedard and against Detroit without him, you faced 2 goalies in Joel Hofer and John Gibson who have been bad all season. Underachieving, bad, not playing to the back of the hockey card, either of those guys. And you let them off the hook by a lot of perimeter, one and done offensive zone times. One shot, high percentage save, no rebounds, no second chances, nobody crashing the net, nobody taking the eyes away from the goal. They made life easy for 2 goalies who have been bad this year, and that there's no excuse for that.
And on top of that, they've been so bad at clearing the zone. And I know they just called up Ethan Del Mastro, and we were going to get to that eventually anyway. Let's talk about that right now. Del Mastro, is he going to dress? I don't know. I think they just called him up to have an insurance policy for this 3-game road trip. He is a guy who's pretty good at flipping the puck out of the zone when he gets it. I've seen both the defensemen and the forwards trying to be too cute, trying to cut the puck out of the net, and it's resulted in needless scoring chances. You get the puck out. Right now, nothing is working in any of the 3 zones. They're not getting the puck out. They're not getting the puck through the neutral zone, and they're not gaining the offensive zone. They need to either pass the puck, skate the puck, do whatever it takes. And, but then when they start dumping, they're dumping it with no forecheckers. I mean, it's just everything is a mess right now. And again, this is where the other night I saw something in the Detroit game. There was one play in the 3rd period. There was about 15 seconds where Artem Levshinov had the puck, and every single Blackhawk was covered, and he was just going up and down the blue line with the puck on us, and it was amazing to watch. But at the end, nothing came of it because these guys aren't getting to areas where they can take the puck, get the puck from him. And it's one of these things where, again, the skill is there. Levshinov has the skill. Rinzel's back in Rockford. Rinzel has the skill. Nazar has the skill. Moore has the skill. Lardis is here now. He has the skill. It's time for these guys to start showing that they belong in the league. And, Blashill loves Ryan Green. He had Ryan Green up on the top line, or he didn't have him on the top line. He had him on the line with Moore and Lardis. I'm like, I would have really liked to have seen Nazar between Moore and Lardis because that would have been a lot of speed and a lot of shots. I I get that Ryan Green is working his ass off, but you know, you've scored 4 goals in 5 games. You have to mix things up. You have to try to get some offense going, and you
Yeah,
need to get the guys who, these are guys who are going to be, if they're not going to be top 6 forwards in Chicago, you need to know that. Because next year Kincerov's going to be here, Friendell's going to be here, more guys are on the way. They're going to have to build the top 6, and you're going to want to know which guys can cut it and which guys can't.
yeah, it's an important time for these kids right now, and for this team. I mean, they've been trending in the wrong direction for a couple of weeks now. Even with Connor Bedard, even we talked about it weeks ago about how the rest of the team has to pick it up before Connor Bedard and Spencer Knight come back to earth.
Yeah.
And Spencer Knight has come back to earth a little bit his last few starts. Still been good, just not that unbelievably great that we saw for the first 6 weeks of the season, but that's expected. And now Connor Bedard's out for the foreseeable future. So you've got to figure it out quickly. Or else, I mean, even when this team was playing at their best, we were pretty reserved in what we thought they were as far as playoffs and all that stuff. But if you want any chance to play meaningful games after the Olympics, you have to figure out a way to just compete and steal some wins while your best player is gone. And it's going to take, not to use an old coaching cliche, but I'm going to do it. It's going to take all 18 guys pulling in the same direction to do it. It's going to have to come as a team. And we'll see how the lineup shakes out. Del Mastro's here. I wouldn't be shocked if they go back to 11-7 here, at least for the first game. Do you really need Dominic Toninato and Sam Lafferty out there? Maybe
the potent Leafs attack.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Other news injury-wise today, Nick Foligno is going to go on the trip. He will not play Tuesday in Toronto, but Jeff Blashill did not rule him out from returning at some point on the 3-game trip. So that's either Thursday in Montreal or Saturday afternoon in Ottawa. Getting Nick Foligno back is a big deal, especially without Connor Bedard. Not that Nick Foligno is going to come out and put up Connor Bedard numbers and save the offense, but you're talking about a guy that does those simple things, plays the game to, the way this team needs to go out and lead by example. They definitely can use Nick Foligno. I know he doesn't put up the sexiest numbers. I know there are people in town who are tired of hearing his post-game, pre-game stuff. It's not an act. It's who he is. But listen, he does all those little things that don't show up on a score sheet that not enough guys on this team do. And,
a young team needs to have the veteran guy to kind of bring them along. Like when Kane and Taves first came into the league, and we always go back to that team, and there's a lot of differences between that Blackhawks team on the rise and whatever this team is going to be. And first of all, when Kane and Taves arrived, you already had Duncan Keith, you had Brent Seabrook, you had some great players already there. Patrick Sharp was already there. Bedard was the first one to show up here, but the guy who kind of held it all together that first year or two was Robert Lang. And, that's kind of the role Nick Foligno fills, where Nick Foligno can be their Robert Lang. He's the guy that, you could see him going over to Nazar and saying, hey, don't be afraid to pick the corner on this guy, or go, because Foligno he can't skate like Nazar. He doesn't have the hands Nazar has. He can't do the things Nazar can do. We can kind of tell him, look, I can't do these things. You can. You just have to go out and do it. And that's what a veteran guy can do for you.
Yeah, they definitely can use what he brings. He's a guy that's will get in the forecheck, will win some faceoffs, will get the puck out of the zone. Those little, they're not minor details, they're big details because you need them, but they go unnoticed a lot. And he does a lot of those things. And leading by example and getting other guys to follow his lead would be huge. Um, just it's going to be. Well, first of all, it's going to be not fun watching this team without Connor Bedard, but not fun as it was when he broke his jaw during his rookie season, because that roster was already putrid. This roster at least has some pieces, but they just have to play better. They just have to start finishing their plays. And if they do, they can hang around. They can win a couple games. Toronto is a very beatable team. You get, and I have a feeling when Frank Nazar finally gets this goal and gets this streak over with, he's going to score in bunches. He'll have a Patrick Sharp type streak where he scores, 7 goals in 5 games or 9 goals in 6 games. The monkey will be off his back. He'll grip his stick a little looser, and the confidence will come back.
And that'll also open things up for more.
Yeah.
I'm hoping by at that point you've got the Nazar Moore Lardis line working. And speaking of confidence, boy, Nick Lardis is not lacking it.
No.
First game in the NHL, he looked like he'd been there a while. He came out, he got off the bus shooting the puck.
Well, that's what he's got to do. I mean, that's what got him here. That's what he's got to do, and that's what the Blackhawks need. I actually asked Jeff Blashill about that today during his zoo-like post-game scrum with the Bears off today. They had all the other media there. Us daily Blackhawk reporters hate when the Bears are off, because then everybody else in town realizes the Blackhawks are a thing. But I asked him about Nick Lardis because of late, Blashill said a lot about he needs his team to have a shoot-first mentality. And I said, Nick Lardis personifies that. He gets out of bed shooting the puck. And, are you hopeful that rubs off on the rest of the team? And he said, yeah, I mean, that's what Nick does. That's what we want him to do. And he says their job right now, as he's easing his way in, is they're trying to put him in positions where he can succeed. Being on that top power play unit is going to help. He seemed to call his spot out. He really likes getting to the bottom of that right circle and shooting from that angle. He was working on that shot at the end of practice today too. So that's what you want to see from a kid that, like, okay, you scored 71 goals in the OHL. You didn't do it by taking 71 shots. You did it by taking 1 million shots.
Yeah.
You were leading the AHL in rookie scoring because you're shooting the puck. Don't change who you are. That's what got you here. Keep doing it. Nobody is going to be mad at you or call you selfish if you go out and pop 2 goals a night on 12 shots.
Yeah. Hell, Pat Verbeek made a career out of that.
Yeah. Just keep firing it away. They're going to go in the net.
Yeah. So, I liked what I saw out of him in his first game. And I hope that continues. And like I said, the only thing is, having him out there with Green and Moore, I would have loved to have seen him out there with Nazar instead of Green. But I'm hoping that, Lardis and Moore can do in Chicago what they were doing in Rockford before Moore got called up. It'll take a game or two.
They looked, in that first period, their first few shifts, they were looking for each other. They were working off each other. They definitely looked comfortable. You could be like, okay, these guys have done this before. Mm-hmm. Go do your thing. As the game went on, they weren't as noticeable or dynamic, but that's going to happen. The Red Wings, once the Red Wings got up 2-0, 4 minutes into the game, they just sat back and said, you're not getting anything. So that game was over when Arvid Soderblom, tried to stab at a Patrick Kane backhander and missed. The game ended right then. I had my post game ready to go and just waiting for the final score.
Yeah, goal. I mean, you think every goalie in the league would know not to do that, not to try doing that with Patrick Kane.
You know, he's been doing that way too much, too often, and it's showing up on his stat line. It's not been pretty for him. Granted, the team hasn't played great in front of him recently, but he's just. It's almost like he's back to where he was 2 years ago, where he's got no confidence and he seems lost out there half the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually would not. I wouldn't be mad if Laurent Brossoit got one of these starts.
I thought of that, and we were actually talking about it today at practice before we went into the locker room.
Have they said what they're doing with him? Are they going to load him back to Rockford?
They placed him on waivers after practice.
Oh, okay.
So, and if and when he clears, he'll go back to Rockford so he can keep playing. I would have been fine if he would have got. Listen, I would have been fine if he started against Toronto, and hey, he just shut you guys out. You want us to leave him here? We'll send him over to your locker room after the game. Just send over a case of Timbits, and a couple of passes to the Hockey Hall of Fame, and we'll call it even.
Right.
But I think
he'll get you a 6th-round pick.
Sure, like future considerations. Who cares? Like, it is obvious to me that Kyle Davidson does not want to create a goalie controversy with his backup goaltender, even though, as we just talked about, Arvid Soderblom has not exactly instilled confidence in anybody. Why not give Brossoit a game or two at the NHL to see, I don't know, maybe they want to protect him. Maybe they don't want him to get into an NHL game and just get lit up, and then what little trade value he has is gone. Maybe they feel it's much better to show, hey, look at this guy. He's got 5 AHL wins and a goal. But it just seems to me they don't want him to get into the NHL and push out Arvid Soderblom, because they're probably more worried about losing Arvid Soderblom to waivers than Brossoit. Obviously, they're not worried. If someone claims him, the Blackhawks will be fine. They're not going to be mad at all, because you're not getting much for him.
No, you're not. So just a waiver claim is fine. And I mean, they already gave him and his agent permission to go look for a trade.
Right.
So, they're not gonna complain if he gets claimed. And that might even be what happens, is some team will say, look, we'll claim him. It's low risk. Let's see what we got.
Yeah. I mean, with that though, you have to take his full contract, his full salary for the year, which isn't a lot, 3-point-something million, as far as actual dollars and cents owed to him, it's not a lot at all. But the cap hit, that might be too difficult to just take on from some teams that may want him. So they may be thinking, if we want him that bad, maybe it's worth giving a 4th-round pick to have the Hawks, retain $500,000 just to help us. I know the Hawks prefer not to retain any salary, because they may want to keep those slots open for the trade deadline with a guy like Connor Murphy, maybe. Or Jason Dickinson, somebody like that. I'd
rather, if they're going to make a choice, it's going to be between Dickinson and Mikheyev. And if they're going to keep one of them, I'd rather they keep Dickinson. Dickinson can win you some faceoffs. He's not.
Yeah.
But it depends. It depends on what teams are willing to give up.
Yeah, I really like Ilya Mikheyev. He's been great on the penalty kill. He's been their best defensive forward. He's another guy, super fast but can't finish. Man, if he could just finish off a couple of these shorthanded breakaways. But he plays elite defense. He's probably the 2nd fastest guy on the team. And he's sneaky fast, because he doesn't look like he's putting any effort into anything, and all of a sudden he's halfway down the ice. Mikheyev is a guy that I could totally see them bringing back for, on another 2-year deal after this year, just to have that, it would be one or the other, Dickinson or Mikheyev.
It's not going to be both.
No, but right now,
but it
might not be. But you were talking about, lines earlier and Nazar in between Lardis and Moore makes a lot of sense. If you do that, why don't you just put Donato with Burakovsky and Bertuzzi? Let him play center on that line. Maybe that gets him going. You paid him a lot of money to score goals. Playing 7 minutes a night with Sam Lafferty and Dominic Donato and is not going to get it done. Put him up there, and you could put Ryan Green with like Colton Dock and Lafferty on that bottom line. Or if you go 7 or 11 forwards, you could have Dock and Green down there to kind of rotate with whoever else you're going to play. Or when Foligno comes back, that's who, So I don't know. They have options. But you were talking about trades, and this weekend was
the unofficial start of trade season.
I mean, it was better than anything we're going to get on the actual trade deadline day. We started with the Edmonton-Pittsburgh goalie swap that has been rumored for a while. Tristan Jarry going from the Penguins to the Oilers for Stuart Skinner, Brent Kulak, and a second-round pick. Stan Bowman, baby. Stan Bowman. He gets rid of Stuart Skinner, who's on an expiring contract, to bring in a goalie with the exact same career goals against average, who's making more money and under contract for 2 more years. Way to go. You made a lateral move, and you gave up a solid veteran defenseman who plays very good in the playoffs and a second-round pick to essentially make a lateral move and then handcuff yourself for 2 more years.
Yep.
Stan Bowman, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Connor McDavid's going to be begging to get out of it.
Well, to me, this is just proof that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl run this team. They were done with Stuart Skinner.
Yeah.
And they love Calvin Pickard, and that's why Calvin Pickard's still there, despite being a bad goaltender. That just tells me Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl said, Stan, get him out of here. We don't care. Tristan Jarry, very little playoff experience playing in Pittsburgh the last few years. I don't even know if he's even played in the game. He might have gotten one of those games that last run, but I mean, say what you want about Stuart Skinner. He got this team to the last 2 Stanley Cup finals and lost Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final 2 years ago by 1 goal.
Well, my other question is, what's Sid thinking about all this?
Well, I mean, I don't think the Penguins got worse. I think the Penguins got better because Skinner and Jarry are a wash, but Kulak is a good defenseman.
Oh yeah, Kulak is okay. He's good,
but they also lost
too.
Yeah, but they also lost Malkin he's on LTIR. He's going to be out for a while, so that could be Dubas's excuse to be like, well, we were right there, and then Malkin got hurt, and we fell off the standings, so now I can trade everybody, and no one's going to be mad at me.
We'll see.
I don't know. Couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of guys. I still haven't forgiven them from 1992.
And speaking of bad GMs, Kevin Adams.
Yeah, no longer a bad GM.
You're no longer a bad GM.
No. You are now an unemployed bad GM. Which means you'll be employed by the end of the summer. No problem. Somebody will hire you.
Yeah. I texted our friend Joe Yurden and said, congratulations on all the fresh content.
Well, you knew this was coming. As soon as they hired Jarkko Kekalainen in the summer, you're like, oh, they just hired. I mean, that's got to suck to come to work every day and your replacement is already there just waiting for you to fuck up.
Well, and the Blackhawks did that because Dale Talon was the GM, Denny Savard was the coach, and they hired Joel Quenneville as a scout, and they brought in Scotty Bowman as a consultant. It's like, come on, you know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Scotty Bowman became the de facto GM for that team, and it was just a matter of time until Savvy. I mean, to Savvy's credit, he wasn't bitter about it at all.
No, he knew what
could have.
He knew what it was. He knew him being head coach was a PR move. Put ticket. Maybe we'll sell 6 extra tickets tonight with Dennis Savard behind the bench. He knew that, and he accepted it. And he knew once that team was gonna start on the upswing, they're gonna bring in somebody to really get him there. He was a placeholder. Probably worked for cheap, and knew what he was getting into. They probably paid him in cartons of Camel Lights. That's
covered his bar tab.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't think Denny Savard has been mad at anybody in his entire life.
Yeah,
he is the most happy-go-lucky, just always in a good mood guy, and it can't be an act. Nobody can fake it that long. I don't think he's ever been mad at anybody in his life. He realizes he's been blessed, and the Blackhawks probably did him a favor, took a lot of pressure off of him, not being the head coach anymore.
Yeah, he loves being an ambassador. He just goes around to the luxury boxes. People buy him drinks. Grip and grin and pose for some pictures, and that's it.
Yeah, he's living the best life. Not a care in the world.
Legend he is.
Not a care in the world. The man has it made, and good for him. He deserves it. Great Hall of Famer and a Hall of Fame person as well. As I said, just an awesome guy. Always has time for you. Whenever we see him at the rink, we haven't talked about the biggest trade though of the weekend. Just when you thought the Central Division was already the best division in hockey, here comes Quinn Hughes to the Minnesota Wild. Bill Guerin is the toast of the NHL right now. I will give Bill Guerin a lot of credit. He is aggressive as hell, and he's going for it. Good for him. Good for the Minnesota hockey fans. We'll see long term how good this trade is, but right now, I think it's going to be one of those where everybody wins, because I think the Vancouver Canucks got a really, really good return.
They got a really good return.
For once, they don't look like the complete bumbling idiots that they normally are. Yeah, it sucks you have to trade Quinn Hughes, your captain, the second best defenseman in the NHL, a Norris Trophy winner in the prime of his career. But hey, he flat out told you, I'm not going to re-sign here. Ball's in your court. They wasted no time.
And they got said, okay.
Yeah.
Who's good. He's really good.
Had a goal and assist in the first 7 minutes of his Canucks career.
Yeah.
And he is just, people love to rag on Quinn Hughes online about his less than stellar personality and his body language. Zeev Buyam is the complete opposite. He is all high energy, all excitement, passion. Not saying Quinn Hughes doesn't have any of that. I'm just saying that's not his personality. Right. So you got him. He's a future number 1 defenseman. You got Marco Rossi, who is a top 6 center. Mm-hmm. And Liam Ogren is a first round pick. Could be that middle 6 power forward type of guy. And you got a first round pick.
Yeah.
So they did damn well. And if Quinn Hughes doesn't stay in Minnesota, that trade looks a lot better.
He won't.
We'll see. I've learned to never underestimate Bill Guerin anymore. Or as Quinn Hughes calls him, Billy. I was a little weirded out by that your first day on a new team and in the post game, you're calling your boss Billy. I know it's a hockey thing and they're all boys, once part of the boys, always part of the boys. I get that, but it's just a little weird to call your boss Billy on day one.
When you're Quinn Hughes, I don't think the GM's your boss.
Well, that's true too. And he scored a goal. He scored a goal in the first game. Yeah. You could tell Minnesota was just pumped. The Bruins had no chance to win that game on Sunday. I don't know. Quinn Hughes makes them overall a better team, but this trade makes them a less deep team.
Yes.
And if you're going to beat Colorado and Dallas, you're going to have to beat them both to come out of the Western Conference.
You
especially
got to
if
do
you're
it
the
with depth.
third place team. You have to do it with depth, and they're not as deep as they were 5 days ago. They're
Well,
better with Quinn Hughes, but overall, their depth took a big hit. Guerin still has a lot of time to fix that, but I just don't know, if they're ready to say that they could beat Colorado or Dallas in a 7-game series, both of them, just because of
no,
Quinn Hughes.
no, not right now. I mean, right
Yeah,
now, I don't know if anybody's beaten Colorado.
I mean, my best bet for anybody to do it is Dallas.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's gonna be tough.
unless Barkov gets healthy, but that's a whole other conversation. That's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, that's a conversation for April.
Yeah.
But man, you look at the Central Division now. You've got Cale Makar, best defenseman in the world on Colorado. You got Miro Heiskanen on Dallas, probably the most underrated defenseman in all of hockey. I'd put him in the top 5 defensemen in the league. And then you got Quinn Hughes, the second best defenseman in the NHL, not far behind Cale Makar. And they're in the same division. They're in the top 3 right now. Could be a lot of fun. And Matt Grzelcyk, yes.
Well, and it's one of the things when you look at how good these defensemen are, and you look at Rinzel, and we'll get to Rockford in a second. You look at Lev Shinov, like, can those guys be in that echelon? I don't know that they can. I like them both. I just don't see either of them being like in that upper echelon. Like,
no, but there's such few guys who are. Where
but if you want to win the Stanley Cup, you kind of have to have one.
Maybe. I mean, like, who was that guy for Florida though the last 2 years defensively? I mean, they had Ekblad, who's really good, but is he in that tier? No, I think he's in that next tier.
Yeah.
And if you don't have one of the elite top 5 defensemen, but you've got 3 guys who are in that next tier, I think you'll be okay.
All right. Well, we'll see. There's plenty of time for that. So, speaking of Rinzel, you ready to crank Hogs?
Sure. I can go a third time today. I'm good.
All right. Well, hydration's the key. We're not doing no nut December here.
As I take a big gulp of water.
So, Rinzel, 4 points in 3 games down in Rockford. He's definitely doing what they want him to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's asserting himself down there, and the way that he's come in and has just like taken over games down there. That's the thing that the Blackhawks wanted to see out of Kevin Korchinski this year and really haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very encouraging to see a kid that gets demoted for the first time in his career, never been to the AHL, and it doesn't seem to phase him. He goes out and he has 2 assists his first game, 2 assists his second game, and he's playing. Jeff Blashill said when they sent him down, they want him to go back down there and regain his swagger with the puck. Well, it looks like he's got that right off the bat, and that's very encouraging. I like the fact that they didn't bring him up right away. They brought Del Mastro up again. It could have been easy to just be like, okay, you played good, you can come back now. No, let him keep working at it down there.
Yeah, let him be the guy.
Yeah, and maybe that lights a fire under Korchinski. Not that Korchinski's been bad. He's got a couple goals and 14 or 15 assists.
Oh yeah, he's averaging what, a point every 2 games?
Yeah, he's up. I think just under a half a point a game. So he's been good, but as you said, he hasn't been dominating at any stretch.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's ever going to get to that point.
Yeah, you don't watch the Ice Hogs, and you just can't take your eyes off Kevin Korchinski. He's out there, and he'll do some good things, but you don't sit there and say, man, this is a guy. This is a guy who's going to be one of the pieces. At least not yet. And the hard thing with Korchinski is you also have to remember he's still so young. He came
Yeah, all these
because
guys
when
are.
he had to go to the Blackhawks. He couldn't go to the because of that stupid rule. He couldn't go to the AHL. So he went to the Blackhawks when he was still wet behind the ears because he was dominating in the Western League. There was no reason to send him back there just to be a man among boys, but there was nowhere else for him to go but Chicago.
Yeah,
And
that
that,
that put him behind a year or two, I think.
yeah. So I mean, there's still time. Um, there's still time for him to, turn into a guy who can. And he doesn't need to be the guy on the Blackhawks. They've got Rinzel. They've got uh, Levshinov, and who knows that as it stands right now, it looks like they're going to have at least one pretty good draft pick this coming year. So
Yeah,
we'll see. And there's a fair amount of defensemen in this draft. So
I'm
there
sure
might be
they'll get
another
another
guy that
one.
they
Yeah,
can, yeah.
they'll take a defenseman
Um,
with one of their 3 first-round picks this year.
yeah. Well, they currently have two, but yeah, there's no way
they're
that
they're going to have a third.
Davidson's. They're going to bundle those twos for a one. That's just what
Yeah,
Davidson always does.
yeah.
Um,
Usually with Carolina.
yeah. And the other big news was because Michael Misa got hurt, that opened up a spot on Team Canada at the World Juniors for Marek Van Acker.
Yeah, but the whole Misa thing is kind of weird because apparently he's still going to go to the camp. They just kept him back a couple of days to play in the AHL. Ryan Warsofsky said yesterday that no, he's not hurt. We just wanted to give him a couple extra days on his conditioning stint, and it sounds like they're still going to send him to the World Juniors, but that doesn't necessarily mean Vanacker is out. I mean, he's in the camp, so hopefully he's impressing them. I think they'd be
Yeah,
stupid to not take him. That would mean that'd be the second year in a row they failed to take the OHL's leading goal scorer because they didn't take
yeah,
Misa last year.
and the thing is I don't understand why it's coming down to Misa and Van Acker since Misa's a center and Van Acker's a wing.
Right. I mean, and I know Canada wants to kind of build they don't want to just take an all-star team up there. They want to build for the tournament. They want to have a fourth line, kind of grindy defensive line, but that could be Vanacker. He plays that kind of style too, and he's not just a perimeter flashy goal scorer. He's not afraid to go in between the dots. He's not afraid to play defense. His defense isn't stellar, but there's not that many teenagers who, that score a lot of goals that put in the work on defense.
Right.
So
Yeah,
we'll see how that works out.
We got really spoiled with Jonathan Taves.
Yeah, those guys don't come around very often. Usually the
No.
defense takes a few years to catch up with the offense. I mean, even Patrice Bergeron, when he came into the league, wasn't known as the defensive specialist. He grew into that role.
Yeah. The one guy I've seen that the Blackhawks have, the closest guy to a 200-foot center they've got is Sasha Boisvert playing at BU. I don't know if I originally thought Boisvert was going to go to BU, just have himself a year and go pro, but injuries have made it. He's still around a point a game.
I think he has a point a game. He had a goal over the weekend.
Yeah, but he didn't even get invited to Team Canada's camp because of his injuries.
Yeah, which sucks because if he was healthy, I'm pretty sure he would have had a spot waiting for him because he would have been that defensive guy that they always look to have. But we'll see how that shakes down. Yeah, I think we all kind of assumed he'd be pro at the end of this year. I think he still will be, but you never know. You never know how this shakes out. Maybe he goes out and has a huge NCAA tournament and Boston wins the national championship again. And, he decides to go pro.
There's a couple of collegiate guys like that. The other one is Václav Nestrasil, who's just is lighting it up at UMass. I was not I mean, he was a first-round pick, but I was not expecting him to have the year he's having as a freshman at UMass.
He wasn't expecting it either. Ben Pope just caught up to him and had a little interview with him that he put on the Chicago Sun-Times over the weekend. That's really good. And even he's like, yeah, this is not what I thought I was going to do. I was just going to come down here and try and play solid hockey and do whatever I can to help the team win. And here I am, the best player on the team. So he'll be at the World Juniors, so he'll be fun to watch. He'll be playing for Czechia, who's always a pain in the ass team in that tournament. They'll upset somebody in the preliminary rounds and make life difficult for the top 4 teams. So he'll be fun to watch. We know he's going to be there. Maybe Vanacker.
Anton Frandell's going to be there.
Frandell will be there for Sweden. So there'll be a couple.
Is Spellacy making Team USA?
I don't.
Is he in camp?
No. I don't. Have they started their camp? I don't think he's in there. If they started their camp, he's not in it because he played for Windsor over the weekend. So it will get all that stuff, here by the weekend, I'm sure, because the tournament starts the day after Christmas. So we're less than 2 weeks away. So we'll see how that shakes out. But we know for sure we're going to have two of the 3 draft picks from first-round picks from last year in the tournament. And the third first-round pick from last year, Mason West, put his skates back on and is back in the USHL after winning the Minnesota State Football Championship. Played for the Fargo Force. Second game out, 2 goals and assists, not too shabby.
And he is a man among boys out there. He is gigantic.
Yeah, he wears a sweater these days that say Force on it, and that's not false advertising.
Yeah, not at all. He is a big boy. And, and next year he's going to Michigan State. And I know because he was playing football and quarterbacking, winning the state title. But yeah, he's not going to be a 2-sport player. He's Michigan State. He's not going to go and play quarterback for a Big Ten team and then play hockey.
I don't know. They got Pat Fitzgerald now. Go Cats. You never know.
Yeah.
Never underestimate the power of a meatball head coach.
Yeah. Wait till the first time Fitz tries to do hazing and he's got a hockey player out there.
Fitz at a school that actually has expectations to win. Have fun with that, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, him going to Michigan State is going to be really good because he's going to be in an elite program close by so that they can keep tabs on him. And you've got another Nightingale as his head coach. Jared Nightingale's brother is the head coach over at Michigan State. So you're just going to be a text message away to be like, put Mason on the top line there, little brother.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that he's not going to need a text to do that. He's got to take one look. As the little bit I saw of the Fargo game, it's like, yeah, West is going to be a real problem for a lot of teams. He's big. He skates well. He's strong on his skates. And he is, he's going to be like a better version of Tyler Bertuzzi.
Yeah.
Big boy that goes to the net.
Between him and Spellacy, they got one of those guys to come up here and be that. And man, if both of those guys somehow are on the team at the same time, that could be a lot of fun.
And Nestrassel's not exactly Roman Kanserov out there either.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what they did this past draft. They went size, You've been saying we're too undersized? Well, here you go. When Anton Frandell at 6'2" was the smallest guy you drafted in the draft, you went for some big boys.
Yeah. And Frandell he's a solid 6'2".
Yeah.
Like even playing among the men in the SHL, you're seeing guys bouncing off of him. He's going in the corner and winning board battles and winning the puck. He's doing all the things you want to see him doing. His production's been a little uneven. He's gone first line, second line, third line, up and down.
That's typical for European hockey leagues. Yeah.
And the important thing, we've talked about this before, the important thing for him is that he's every game he's sitting there in the clubhouse with Marcus Kruger, and you know everything I've heard about Frondell is he's a guy who's wants to learn the game. He's already got a pretty high hockey IQ, and sitting in a room with Kruger, Kruger's going to tell him, okay, these are the things you need to do to get to the NHL, and this is what it means to play in Chicago.
Yep.
There's no better teammate he could have than Marcus Kruger.
Marcus Kruger, an extension of the Blackhawks pro player personnel department. I wonder if they send him checks. But even seeing Frondell after the draft in person, not even in equipment, I was impressed with how big he was. Because like usually you see these 18-year-old kids and you're like, okay, when they fill out, they'll be there. But he already has begun the filling out process. He was impressive.
Well, one of the guys I've seen linked to the Hawks and some of the mocks for this coming summer's draft is Novotny, and he's another guy. Oh my God, this guy's he's a brick house out there. And yeah, if they want to go out and get Adam Novotny, I don't think anybody in the world's going to complain about it.
No, somebody will. Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
But you're right. No, the size is coming to go with the dynamic, smaller players. There's a really good mix of their prospect pool now. They've got a little bit of everything, what you need to do. Like, I've said for years, there's a difference between a general manager who builds a team and a general manager who filled out his roster. For the first at the NHL level, for the first couple of years, Kyle Davidson was just filling out a roster, but while he was building his team through the draft, he's building his team that way. Started with some defensemen, then started with dynamic forwards, regardless of size. Now it's like, okay, I've got to get this. I got to get the bigger players in here. I've got to get the third and fourth liners in here. I've got my goalies. Like he's, and he's got multiple of each. So if one guy doesn't work out, next guy up, it's your shot.
Right. That's the one thing is they're definitely taking the volume approach, because look, as much as we would love for it to happen, every first round pick doesn't hit. Every second round pick, and as you move down in rounds, the likelihood of them hitting becomes less and less and less. I mean, Nick Lardis was a third rounder, and he's in the NHL now.
Yeah.
And
I mean, your third rounder from this past year, Nathan Beam, looking pretty damn good too. So
yeah, where did that come from? I mean, he looked okay in camp. I was not expecting him to light it up like this. And he's going to Arizona State, which is a surprisingly good program.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like he doesn't need second round picks because he's gonna get 3 first rounders, and then he's going to hit on at least 1 third rounder. I mean, that seems to be the recipe for success.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at John Mustard was a third rounder. Jack Pridham was a third rounder. These are guys having big seasons. Pridham had a hat trick over the weekend. That was a guy we were kind of disappointed didn't go to Boston University, but he's lighting it up for Kitchener. So, it's working out for him.
And, he's probably going pro after this year.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think so.
Yeah. He's going to be 20, time to go pro.
But maybe he goes, maybe he does go to Boston next year instead of, going pro. But I think he'll get that ELC at the end of the year, and maybe, Black Ace for Rockford during their playoff run if they make the playoffs. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
You're not having Lardis and Moore there anymore. Hurts. But hey, Rem Pitlick is back. Watch out.
Yeah, Rem Pitlick. I saw that.
Hey, that dude is an AHL goal scorer, and they need that. Like, you can joke all you want, but he's one of those guys that is a career AHLer and will score 30 goals. Jerry Mayhew. Who was the other guy the Ice Hogs had a couple of years? Rocco. What was his name? Not Rocco Baldelli. That's the baseball guy. Crap. Whatever. Not that important. But there's guys out there that are career AHL goal scorers. He's one of those guys. Chris Terry's the guy that's been lighting up that league for years. So that's a good move by them.
I kind of hope after the deadline that Brett Seney gets a call for a few games just to give him a little NHL money.
We'll see. Rocco Grimaldi is the guy I was thinking about. Grimaldi.
Right, Rocco Grimaldi. Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
It depends on where Rockford is. It depends on where the Blackhawks are.
Yeah, I mean, Seney's their most important player right now. He's been really good. He's having an MVP type season down there.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Blackhawks like having him there. They like what he's been doing with the younger guys, and he understands his role down there. He understands he's there to, to guide young guys to the NHL. So I would like to see that get rewarded at some point.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, the Ice Hogs right now are 5th in the Central Division, which is good enough for the final playoff spot out of that division. They take 5 teams. They're 1 point behind the Admirals and 4 points behind the Wolves, who just fired their coach in a weird situation. And they're only 5 points out of second place. The Grand Rapids Griffins are running away with that division. They have played 24 games. You want to guess how many points they have out of a possible 48 points?
No, I can't. I haven't looked at AHL standings at all.
Out of
30,
the Grand Rapids Griffins have a 45 out of a possible 48 points this season. They are 22-1-1 on the year.
So they're winning the Calder Cup.
No, they're getting swept in the first round.
That would be funny.
Well, the first round in the AHL is only a 5-game series, man. Crazy things can happen.
Yeah. One hot goalie messes everything up.
Drew Commesso just ruins their season.
Drew Commesso did it last year.
Yeah. The Ice Hogs, they got a 5-point cushion in 5th place. So they're looking okay to make the playoffs, but we'll see what happens. No Nick Lardis is really going to hurt them, but someone's got to step up down there too.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this week. I'm not optimistic. I'm thinking maybe 2 points.
That'd be nice. I'd be happy with that. I mean, Toronto's there. You could beat them if you get the goaltending.
Yeah.
Montreal is going to be a tough matchup against them, and Ottawa's If you're going to win a game, it's going to be Toronto or Ottawa.
Right. But and both teams are better than the Hawks. All 3 of these teams are better than the Hawks.
Right now,
maybe they can steal a game. Somebody's got to start putting the puck in the net.
Yeah, you can't rely on Spencer Knight to have a shutout every night for you to win. Start scoring.
I don't want to be looking at lottery odds in January.
Unfortunately, we might be trending that way. I mean, hopefully, as far as I'm concerned, the update today on Connor Bedard was about as optimistic as you can be, all things considered. I was ready for them to say we'll see him after the Olympics, which still might be a thing. We don't know. But the fact that they're like, hey, in 2 weeks, we'll have a better idea, that tells me it might not be as bad as it could be. So,
right.
Whatever it takes. We did have a funny moment in the room today, obviously with the Hawks, post game on no morning skate on Saturday. We, ahead of that, right after the Bedard, we weren't able to talk to a lot of guys. So we talked to Frank Nazar today after, and of course he's going to be asked about Bedard and all this stuff. And then, as we were walking away, it was like, it was so weird. He's not dead. I just saw him. He's fine. Like it was such a weird conversation. Like I had to pretend like he wasn't here anymore.
Yeah. But the nature of the game is when guys are hurt, they're kind of not there. They're there and not
No,
there at the same time,
they're
especially when you go on the
ghosts.
road.
I was almost half expecting to see an Eloy Jimenez jersey and Connor Bedard's locker stall today, just to be
Oh man.
get the spirit up on the team because it worked so well for that White Sox team.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And well, we were at the hour mark, so I don't know when we're going to be able to record again because I'm going to be on the road next week. Might not be until after Christmas. So I'd like to wish all of our listeners Merry Christmas. And for those who celebrate, Hanukkah is already underway. I hope you guys are having a good time and pounding those latkes. And the week, I'll take a look at the schedule and everything for the week between Christmas and New Year's, and maybe we can get back rolling then. And I'd like to thank everybody again for listening, subscribing, commenting. I always look at the comments. I always try to respond to everybody's comments because I know you guys are taking the time out for us. I want to make sure and take some time out for each of you too, because it means a lot to us. We are, after all, the only Blackhawks podcast endorsed by the Pope. So
Yep. Pope Bab.
Pope Bob is listening, and Pope Bob, do me a favor, throw us a plug in your next blessing. Let's get our subscribers up to 1,000.
Say a prayer for Connor Bedard's shoulder, just in case.
Yeah, and Frank Nazar's hands.
Yeah. Start putting the old curse on the opposing goalies.
There you go. Get the evil eye behind the net.
Yes, I too would like to echo all those sentiments Frank perfectly put out. If we don't get a chance to record before Christmas, hope everybody has a great holiday. Stay safe, stay healthy. And if you're hanging out on Facebook and you're a fan of the podcast, join the Second Balcony Facebook group. A bunch of like-minded hockey fans there too, so we can keep the discussion going over there.
And
on Facebook as well.
I forgot to share over there the Instagram post of all the Kings wearing 67 jerseys, because I know Greg loves the 6-7 thing.
Kick him out of the league. Can you imagine trying to explain that to Anze Kopitar?
I know. I have a feeling Drew Doughty's all over it though.
No comment. I'm not touching that one.
Good old Drew. Do you remember the Dewey Show?
Mm-mm.
There was an animated series on YouTube called The Dewey Show, where they did these animated cartoons of Drew Doughty, and he was just like a total airhead. And they actually had a really funny. It looks almost like South Park. They might still be out there for all I know. And
look it up.
Yeah, The Dewey Show. And there's one with Corey Crawford, because I don't know if you remember one time Crawford wanted to fight quick, but
Right.
Crawford waited till there was a referee holding him back and then started shaking his gloves. Which I love Corey Crawford, but man, that was a punk move. And the Dewey Show guys called him on it.
I'll have to see if that's still available. Relive some memories. But yeah, Second City Balcony on Facebook. Join the group. You won't miss anything. Get updated. We'll try to get back as soon as we can. We'll figure out a day that works out for us. And if you've subscribed to the YouTube page or followed us on your podcast app, they'll tell you when the next episode drops, so you won't have to keep looking for it. That's the bonus for becoming a subscriber. It doesn't cost you no money, so help us out. And now we'll wrap it up. Frank, I hope you and Lori have a great Christmas. If I don't talk, I'm sure you'll be chatting with me before then. But officially on the air, I'll welcome. Put it out there, so this helps save my reputation. So. All right, absolutely. We will let Al play us away, and whenever next time is, we'll definitely be waiting for you here in the Second Balcony. We'll see you guys then.